How incredible. What a striking color. Ah, Professor, look at this stone. Such a brilliant blue. You don't normally find stones like this around here. I ought to grind it down. I wonder if it would still be the same color. To make pigment for my art. Good supplies don't come cheap. I prefer to make my own. Blue is especially expensive. How fortunate that I chanced upon this remarkable blueness. Oh, I'm sorry. There I go again, blathering on and on about painting. Oh, yes. But I know that I can get rather caught up in it and, enthusiastic. You know, Professor, no matter how impassioned I become about my art, you never hold it against me. One could argue that I'm better off preparing for our next battle. I am becoming a knight. Oh, Professor, please don't say things like that. I gave up on my artistic dreams long ago. To support my family, I will be a knight. That's that. No, I won't. I'm doing the right thing. I'll continue with my art as a hobby. I don't think I could ever give it up. When I see something beautiful, I can't suppress the urge to paint it. I don't have a choice. And if my art can bring happiness to even one person, that's good enough for me. Professor, I have a favor to ask. I'm painting a portrait right now. When it's finished, I'd like to give the piece to you. Would you take it? Perhaps it can bring you a little happiness. That will have made the effort well worth it. Oh, excellent! Is that a promise? Because I'm really going to put my heart in it. That is, I'm going to enjoy partaking in this casual hobby of mine.
I'm so... Things turned out wonderfully. Now then, I'll take that treat you mentioned.
We really killed it, didn't we? Who knew we'd make such a great team?
Some things you can't learn.
Let's see it in action. I have much expertise now.
Seems my Hi, Annette. Looks like some tasty food you've got there. Mind if I join you?
Sure, but I'm finished eating. You're here late. Busy day?
Very. I got caught up thinking about your song. I find it really makes the time fly.
So you didn't manage to forget about that. I really wish you would.
Alas, I cannot. That song is engraved on my soul. The lyrics, they echo in my brain, begging to be understood. Those words represent the cry of a poor soul who died in anguish. Is that it? That's it, isn't it?
The cry of a poor soul?
A land that's dark and frigidly cold. That could only mean the underworld. In my search for truth, I read up on the old rituals of the eastern regions of Fargus. Those who die with regret are thought to end up in an underworld of sorts. Somewhere cold, somewhere dark, somewhere creepy. To escape from their bitter limbo, they dig their way up through the earth, trying to find the surface, or the light, in other words. And so they creep about endlessly in the cold dirt of the underworld, clinging to their hopeless desire. Creepity creep, Annette. Creepity creep. So, was I right, or was I right?
What? No, you're not even close. It wasn't supposed to be a dark and miserable song at all.
Huh. Now that I think about it, the melody and dance didn't really match the weight of the lyrics.
The lyrics are simply about seeds pushing out of the ground to become sweet little buds. They creep through the dirt until they find the light. The song just describes what it's like to be a budding flower.
Damn, that is good stuff. Okay, maybe I read too much into it. Actually, now that you've explained, it really is a nice little song. Creepity creep, the gentle journey from the ground to the surface. I love it.
Do you think it's embarrassing that I made up such a silly song?
Not at all. Oh, but that reminds me. I was so inspired by Creepity Creep that I made up some lyrics of my own. I've been nonchalantly carrying them around with me, hoping to run into you. Would you mind taking a look?
Oh, of course. Let's see here. Walking with purpose and a steady stride, lively and bright and full of pride. Crying, laughing, and blazing ahead. Why worry about tomorrow? Let's eat instead. So, what would you say this song is about, Claude?
Oh, Annette. Sweet Annette. This time it's your turn to decipher its meaning. Let me know when you've figured it out.
That reminds me, Ferdinand. I wonder if a certain rumor has already reached your ears.
I suspect I know what you are referring to. A certain noble who caused a stir at one of the local taverns, correct? For someone of status to make such a scene. What a disgrace.
I thought just the same. A noble ought to hold himself to a higher standard. It is hardly appropriate to drink and mingle with a tavern full of commoners.
Oh, that is not quite what I meant. I do not object to a noble patronizing their local establishments. In fact, I would say such excursions have value.
Is that so? I would be very curious to hear what value you mean exactly. But allow me first to venture a guess. Is it that you suppose it is proper for a noble to bolster a town's wealth with his patronage? If that is your thinking, then I would counter that whatever one adds to a merchant's coffers seldom makes it to the pockets of the townsfolk. I think that if a noble wishes to use his resources to ease the burdens of the commoners, he ought to go about town and spend it more directly.
That is wonderfully insightful, Lawrence, albeit not what I had in mind. What I meant was this. We can benefit from crossing the threshold and learning more about regular folk. We scarcely understand the reality of their lives. In turn, they do not know about us. I have heard that some believe we have horns growing from our heads. It is an embarrassing and potentially perilous state of affairs.
You are quite right. In fact, that reminds me of something a boy once said to me when I visited a village on my family's territory. He actually asked me if I had a tail. Hilarious.
We all need a laugh now and then. As a man of status, I feel it is my calling to right the world's wrongs, but there is only so much I can do alone. Working in tandem, though, you and I could make tremendous accomplishments.
My sentiments exactly. Together we could achieve a great deal. Though the circumstances of birth may have placed one of us in the Empire and the other in the Alliance, we can still aim for a brighter future together.
Yes, precisely. Together, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. By the way, Lawrence, do you have a tail?
Gaspar, good to see you. You're looking a bit bigger lately.
Yeah, Raphael, that's one way to put it.
Is something wrong? I thought you wanted to get bigger. Have you been training?
I haven't missed a day. The problem is that my body doesn't want to grow in the directions I want it to. I was hoping to get a little taller, but I seem to just be growing wider. I don't think your methods are for me.
Oh, that's too bad. I always thought the secret to getting bigger was lots of eating and training. You know what? You shouldn't worry so much about how big or tall you are. You're great, no matter what size.
What makes you say that?
Well, let's see. You can run faster than me, And you're really agile, which I'll never be. That's just about your legs, though. Your other movements are quick, too. You can dodge good and swing a sword pretty fast. Oh, and you're...
All right, Raphael. I think I see the problem now. I thought I envied the size of your body, but I was wrong. After hearing you say those nice things about me, I realized that I actually envy the size of your heart.
Huh? I think it's normal size, but...
That's right. I don't just need a bigger body. I need a bigger heart. Once I have a bigger heart, then maybe, just maybe, my body will start growing too.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, how do I increase the size of my heart? It didn't help with my body, but do you think eating will make my heart grow?
I have no idea, but I'm always up for a meal.
I really don't want to get any wider, though. I'm so conflicted. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. It's like you always say, when in doubt, go to the dining hall.
Nothing here.
What are you doing?
Oh, Flane! I've just been researching the exploits of Saint Sethleen.
And why is it you're doing that precisely?
Well, painting is a hobby of mine, and I thought I might like to capture her likeness.
Well, how lovely. But how is researching her exploits necessary for painting?
If I wanted to use a statue of Saint Sethleen for my reference, it wouldn't be necessary. But that's not what I want. I wish to paint Saint Sethleen herself, looking exactly as she did when she was alive. And if I don't know anything about who she was on the inside, the image won't be true to life. So I wanted to find some hints about who she was, and that's why I've been researching her deeds.
Ah, so you were hoping to find out what type of girl she was.
Girl? Interesting way of putting it, but yes, more or less.
I see. Yes, it is all quite clear to me now.
What's happening?
Okay then. Allow me to share with you what I know of Sethleen's deeds. Long ago, in a world ravaged by war, Sethleen led a secluded life with her father, Keyhole. One day, they met Saint Seros, who was grieved by the chaos and destruction of war. And so, the three decided to join forces.
Huh? But I thought the saints gathered following a revelation from the goddess.
At the Battle of Tailteen, they fought against the 10 elites led by Nemesis, who sought to conquer the whole world. Sethleen tended to her allies on the field of battle, until she exhausted all her strength. Then, she fell into a long slumber.
But according to legend, she used her miraculous powers to heal all of the wounded.
Interesting story, is it not? Have you perhaps learned something new about Sethleen?
Having heard all that, I'd say she seems incredible.
Incredible? Well, I haven't heard that before. I feel certain you and I will be fast friends. Let us talk again soon.
Huh. Who knew Flane was such an expert on Sethleen?
Professor Hanneman, is this a good spot for this book?
That will do nicely, Lysithea. I'm sorry to trouble you with these chores.
It's no trouble. After all, it's proper etiquette for the young to help the elderly.
The elderly? I'm only... Ugh, never mind. How have you been feeling of late? Anything worth mentioning?
I've been feeling well enough, all things considered.
You seem to be maturing remarkably. No doubt your well-being is due to the positive influence of your twin crests working in tandem.
Here he goes with the positive again. Looks like your research is more useless than I thought.
I may ignore your assaults on my age, but I will not allow unfettered attacks upon my research. What makes you think it's lacking? Surely you do not deny that your crest-related abilities exceed those of your peers. You are so far ahead of the others. Even the combined effects of the twin crests you bear do not fully account for that discrepancy.
You just can't see beyond the crest, can you? In all your research, haven't you considered that my abilities are a direct result of the effort I've put in?
Of course, I am aware that you are a hardworking student, but...
My efforts far exceed those of any other student. I've placed top priority on growing as quickly as possible.
Is the ability to expend such incredible efforts to be so focused focused and driven, is that not a form of talent?
It has nothing to do with talent. It's a question of sheer will. I'm determined to succeed, no matter the sacrifice.
I see. But what drives you to such lengths?
I have goals, just like anyone, and precious little time in which to achieve them.
Little time?
The people who made me as I am informed me that my life would be drastically shortened as a result. A person bearing two crests against the will of nature itself. Well, clearly it can't be sustainable. As such, I don't indulge in the luxury of fantasizing about the future. I haven't got one. Knowing all this now, will you still claim that my crests are something positive?
I cannot. Please understand. I had no idea.
I'll be leaving now.
Lysithea. So that is why you are...
Little Lysithea. These ears miss nothing, you know.
What are you on about this time?
Is it true that Count Ordelia plans to relinquish his title eventually?
Yes, but why are you asking?
I approve, that's all. Throwing off the shackles of nobility to live freely? It's a beautiful thing.
I would ask that you refrain from painting them with the same brushstrokes that you so liberally paint yourself with. My mother and father will carry on with all the associated duties befitting of nobles. Only after that will they retire.
Got it. And that's completely different from someone like me who tapped out of the nobility game, right? Your parents are exemplary nobles, that's for sure. I respect that you support them as much as you do.
Would you just stop? You're embarrassing me.
Can't be helped. Meant every word. If anyone should have red cheeks, it's me, given the choices I've made.
I'm sure you had your reasons.
Of course. Still, it is a bit cowardly of me not to stand up to my family a bit more. Honestly, it's since getting to know you that I've started thinking along those lines. One day soon I'll return to that house. My reception will be chilly at best. Still, it must be done. My house is full of lowlifes. But it also has my little bro, who took over when I left. He's good people, even with the difficulties in Leicester. Our house is still going strong. That's his doing. That's why I've decided that it's time to talk to him about what can be done to help Count Ordelia.
Repaying your perceived debt would be nice, sure. But it sounds like you intend to foist your responsibility onto your little brother.
Ah, but the two aren't related. This is just the right thing to do. I'm still pondering how best to fulfill my vow.
Uh-huh.
Well, you don't believe me, do you, little lady?
Just what exactly are you planning on in terms of this repayment?
After your family relinquishes their noble titles, I'll support them so that you can all live in peace.
Even though you're a lowlife?
That may be true, and it is, but consider this. I've seen life from both sides, as a noble and a vagabond. When their situation changes, they'll face new challenges. I'm the perfect guy to help them through.
You're irresponsible and unreliable. But clearly, you're not a bad person, and your support would be most appreciated. Just so you're aware, however, we have no means with which to pay you. So, are you sure you're still willing to follow through with it?
I wasn't planning on doing this for a payout, but if you really insisted on a thank you gift, well, you could always accept me into your family. Then paying me wouldn't be a consideration.
Excuse me? Just what are you insinuating?
Don't think too hard about it just yet. I still have lots of debts to pay and affairs to settle. In the meantime, let's just stick close together.
Marianne, are you not going to pray?
I finished. What is it?
I just wanted to apologize.
It's fine, Ferdinand. You did nothing wrong.
Last time we spoke, I did not quite finish saying what I wanted to say. You say I did nothing wrong, so perhaps you will hear me out this time?
Very well. What is it?
Rather than mourning the way things are, is it not better to accept reality and move forward from there?
Accept and move forward?
Precisely. You curse your heritage and reject your present situation. That makes you gloomy, even despairing. As long as you are held back by that way of thinking, nothing is ever going to change.
What about you? Do you really believe that you accept whatever comes in life?
I do. Come what may, I will never falter.
How?
Well, each person is born with a purpose. We must fulfill that purpose, no matter our circumstances. It imbues our lives with meaning and direction. That is what I believe, anyway. Everyone has something they are meant to accomplish. That is true for nobles, commoners, even bandits.
I see. So that's what you believe. Do you really think it's possible that someone like me has a purpose to fulfill?
Yes, of course.
Oh. I'll give this some serious thought. Thank you, Ferdinand. Your words have deeply moved me.
Is that so? How wonderful. I will pray that you find the answers you seek.
Oh, it's Sedith. I'd better slip away before he...
Ah, I see you are indulging in a bit of reading. You are fond of books, I take it?
Yes, reading's one of my favorite pastimes. I was just finishing up, actually, so I think I'll...
That is most fortuitous.
Fortuitous? How do you figure?
Come with me. I have a story to share with you. Once upon a time, deep in the cold mountains, there lived a lazy fox and an industrious squirrel. The squirrel worked tirelessly all day long, while the fox did nothing but lounge around and play. When autumn came, the squirrel hurriedly gathered up acorns for the winter. But the fox continued to play without a care. A biting winter fell upon the land. The mountains, caked in snow, concealed all nourishment from sight. The hungry fox went to the squirrel's dwelling, but the squirrel had locked up tight and gone to sleep. Every so often, the squirrel would wake, enjoy a nibble of an acorn, and then return to an easy slumber. The fox, on the other hand, with nowhere else to turn, was forced to scrounge for food in the bitter cold of the forest. Forlorn and hungry, he wandered in solitude all through the winter, until spring came once more. And so it is to this very day that foxes are denied the comforts of hibernation.
Ah, I really learned something about foxes. I read lots of fairy tales like that when I was little. But the lazy fox and the industrious squirrel, huh? That one I don't think I've heard before.
That is not surprising, considering I wrote it.
Oh, you wrote it?
I did. When Flane was young, she loved fairy tales more than anything. I would read them to her often. This one, however, is a more recent creation. I wrote it for the benefit of the children in the monastery. So, what do you think? I'm curious to hear what sort of impression it made on you.
It's so cute!
You found it to be cute?
I can just see it now. You writing fairy tales for your little sister. That's just the cutest thing. Honestly, to me, you usually come across as stern and overly perceptive. But now I know you have a sweet side, too. I feel like I'm seeing you in a whole new light.
That is not what I was hoping to hear.
Ah, Cyril. Cleaning again, I see.
Hilda, you're in the way. Move it.
I'm supposed to refill the horses' water troughs, but I can't find the buckets. I was told that they'd be in the usual place. What's the usual place?
Maybe you'd know where that is if you did your job sometime.
You know, Cyril, I don't want to interrupt you while you're cleaning, but...
Come on, the buckets are over near the wall, where they always are, because I put them there.
Okay. Thanks for your help. You're pretty strong. I bet you're tired, though. Come on, let's rest a bit.
Okay, just for a minute, though. I got more work to do.
not a fan of awkward silences. Anything interesting happen lately?
Figured you were the one with something to say. Quiet don't bother me.
I need an interesting topic for this letter I'm writing to my brother. I'm stumped.
Your brother write to you a lot?
Constantly. Yeah, he must be bored. He's always going on about how worried he is for me. What's worse, if I take too long to reply, he gets more worried and writes more about it.
Write about your life, maybe. You know, stuff like, I got real lazy again today. Or maybe, can you believe I still don't know where they put the water buckets?
You're mean. Do you really think that little of me?
You're a lazy gal who gets people to do her work for her. I never knew anybody like that in Elmira.
Oh, really? So Lady Rhea isn't the only difference between Fodlan and Elmira after all?
I don't like comparing Lady Rhea with you, but I figure you're right. You know what's real weird? Nobody seems to mind picking up your slack. Even me.
Sorry, what was that?
Nothing worth repeating. Anyway, I gotta get back to work.
He's such a diligent boy. I don't think I've ever seen someone from Fodlan work that hard. Oh, hang on. I never got an idea from him about what to write in my letter. Ugh. I guess there's nothing for it. Maybe I can just write about Cyril.
I heard what you did. I'm disappointed, Leonie.
Hi, Shamir. What have you heard exactly?
You aimed your bow at a group of students passing through the monastery. Was this your idiotic idea of training? I told you to be cautious.
I'm sorry. Idiotic's a bit harsh, though, isn't it?
What were you planning on doing after you took aim? Shooting passersby? Of course not. If you want to train, choose a target you can actually shoot.
I know. Everyone was pretty mad. I really am sorry.
Nobody's happy to have a bow pointed at them.
My mentor used to do that kind of thing a lot.
Mentor? Was that Gerald? I don't know much about him. Would he really do that?
Would and did. Mostly when he was drunk, though.
Not a good habit to emulate. From now on, only aim at bugs, like I showed you.
But, I don't really like bugs.
You don't like bugs? That should make you want to aim at them even more.
I just can't look at them. Seeing all the extra legs and things, ugh, makes my skin crawl.
Then just draw some spiders and hang them on the walls. Aim at the drawings whenever you pass one. Overcome your fear of bugs while you train.
You want me to draw spiders? Ew, no. Would that even help?
Yes, I should know.
Huh? You were scared of them too?
I was, but they don't bother me anymore.
Okay, you've talked me into it. I'll give it a try.
And don't hang them where other people might pass.
Got it. Learn my lesson. Promise.
I'm choosing to believe that. Alois.
Ah! A ghost! I'm sorry! Forgive me, please forgive me!
Calm down. It's just me.
That voice, it's... Shamir? Ah! It's Shamir. Whew, you frightened me. My heart was beating so hard I thought it would burst out my nose.
Your heart's in your chest, not your head.
Can you try not to be so stealthy when you're approaching a fellow knight?
Your reaction was excessive. Are you afraid of ghosts?
I suppose there's no point in hiding it. I'm terrified of them.
Terrified? Of ghosts? I didn't mean to pry. There's no need to...
No, I want to get it off my chest. That time when we were on our way back from a mission, do you remember what I asked you?
You asked if I ever think about the people I've killed.
Yes. You said you never do, but me, I can't go a day without thinking about them. The feel of my weapon cutting through them, their twisted faces, their cries of pain, and that awful scent of blood. I was carrying out my duties, but that doesn't make it easier for me to forget. And the dead haven't forgotten me either. Their hatred, their resentment, their curses. One day, the spirits will set upon me for revenge. Ooh!
I apologize for striking you, but it had to be done. Have you calmed down?
Yes, thanks. I needed that.
I'm surprised someone like you managed to become a knight. Or perhaps that's why you became one.
Shamir? How do you figure I did today? In the battle, I mean. I tried to not get close to the enemy, and I even used some curved shots just like you taught me. And that was pretty good, huh?
You did well. You maintained a safe distance.
Well, that's even better than fine.
Is that worth celebrating?
Ha! You said I was fine before, now you're saying I did well, and that's a big improvement. Especially since everyone knows you're always so strict.
I give praise where it's due. To that point, you've made incredible progress. At first, you couldn't even draw a bow.
At first, you wouldn't even let me hold a bow.
Really?
You just gave me a stick with a piece of string tied on it, and you made me practice with that. Honest, I figured you were bullying me. I was really close to giving up. But then you finally gave me the bow. I mean it, I was mad. I'd done all the stuff you told me to, and I knew the way I was supposed to stand, and I could pull the string just so, but...
Maybe I was testing you. Seeing if you'd give up. You're the one who insisted that I teach you archery. I never intended to take you on as my student.
I just wanted to do whatever I could for Lady Rhea. More than just cleaning and chopping wood and such. I thought maybe I could help with the fighting, but I didn't know anything about swords, and archery was always something that interested me, so... You really helped me out with my dreams, even though you didn't get anything out of it. And that's really nice of you.
I gain nothing personally, but the whole army benefits if you're skilled. And those of us from outside of Fodlan should support one another, right?
But it's always been you helping me. I'm gonna keep working real hard with that bow so I can help you back.